Throughout Decepticon history, there have been multiple leaders. Galvatron, Shockwave, Scorponok, Thunderwing, that's just to name a few. But none have been more obscure as the evil, evil Decepticon from the 90s Generation 2 cartoon, and that is Jhiaxus. He was benevolent, or at least he was in the beginning, and then he turned out to just be a complete and total bonkers tyrant, thanks to, being annoyed to death by Optimus Prime. I'm not even kidding. He was so annoyed by Optimus Prime and the other Decepticons, or at least the Generation 1 Decepticons, that he lost his cool to the point where he, in his own words, de-evolved into a tyrant. Okay then. The 90s were weird, let's leave it at that. This figure is amazing. I never thought we would get this figure. I really didn't. And it fits perfectly on Starscream's throne. I love it. The 90s were a time of fluorescence and hot colors, and boy do we have that here. The white, the bright canary-ish yellow, the green, and the red all pop in a way that I am just super, super pleased with. The overall design of the character is something unique. We've never really gotten a figure like this or a character like this before. The only other character that even kind of matches it was the original Thunderwing in the comic books. Something I love on the chest is you've got the Generation 2 Decepticon emblem right there in smack dab on the cockpit. Another thing I love is this head sculpt. It's amazing. The red helmet with the giant FU chin and the piping. What is he cooling? Is he so mad that he needs to cool off his chin? And then the scouter on the side of the head. It's so 90s, it works. The figure itself is highly posable. Head is on a ball joint, though he is, he can't really look off to the left all that much. Shoulders are on hinges and swivels, and then a swivel at the upper arm, over 90-degree bend at the elbow. Fists do articulate, and the hands open and close, which is nice. Torso articulation is present, no ab crunch, unfortunately. The wings on his back are posable. They can move around and get out of the way, and thankfully they don't get in the way too much of the arms. They do get in the way, but not that much. Legs can kick forward and can kick back forward at 90 degrees, back at about 75 degrees. The figure can do the splits just about, and then knee articulation is plentiful, thigh swivel is plentiful, and then forward and back on the toes, and then side to side. Jhiaxus comes with two accessories. This tiny little gun that's painted silver, it's molded in clear plastic, so be careful. And then this big mamma jamma for shooting fools. Something to note is that the little scouter bit pops off like so, and then can be mounted on the end of the gun like that, so he can get like a little sniper rifle going. That's such a cool addition. Not in the directions, but it's very cool, which makes me think, I wonder, is this thing going to get remolded into something else? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This is the pose that I think is most iconic for the character, him walking into a room with his gun, ready to just mess up an entire room of fools. The figure possesses a flight stand port on his butt, so you can get him in some fun poses. I love this figure's robot mode. It is exactly what I want from a Jhiaxus figure, and it just works. Now, I wonder if they would be able to pull off the Hunchback of Cybertron look that Jhiaxus had in the IDW comics. This is definitely the Gen 2 figure, or the Generation 2 comics figure. Now, this figure does have some very, very, very minor issues, and that is some of the joints are a little too loose. Elbows, I think, are a little bit too loose, and the knees are just a little bit too loose. I don't think that's a huge issue, though. I'm pretty sure I can fix it, but I just thought I'd mention it anyway. Transformation for this bad bot is interesting, especially with what the alt mode is. He turns into a plane, and it's the closest rendition to the crazy, little tiny pointer plane that the original comics had him turning into. Seriously, the comics just made him look really, really weird in alt mode. It was more like a dart with wings than an actual plane. To start off with, open up the forearms and fold the fists in there. That's the easiest point or part. Then come to the backpack and flip the backpack open, and we can fold the head down and tuck it into place. Then, while the backpack is open, push the front of the chest open and get it up about halfway. Flip out the nose cone of the jet mode, then take the little scouter and fold it underneath the cockpit. Flip the cockpit all the way up, and then fold the backpack back down and snap it into place. Then take the torso, turn it around 180 degrees, like so, and take the wings and flip them down and peg them into place. Come down to the legs and flip down the white bits that are the inside of the legs and flip them all the way around. This will form the tail wing. Then flip out these little bat wings, and throughout the transformation, and throughout this video review, the bat wings keep folding up behind the figure every time I pick them up. So they're meant to be folded out in robot mode. So what are we going to do here? Well, take the lower legs, unpeg them at the knees, and then slide them up like that. Flip the toes in, straighten out the leg, and fold it up, and it will snap into place, and the knee, or the top of the knee, will peg into the back, or the bottom of where the wings folded down at. So do that on the other side. Pop the leg out, push the foot down, flip up the knee, peg it into place, snap the legs together, and then peg the thrusters into the bottom of the toes. And finally, grab the wings, or not finally, grab the wings, unfold them, and then fold them back, and the underside of the wings will peg into these little pegs that are sticking off the backs of the legs. Like that. So there we go. Now, for the arms, fold the shoulders in, turn the arms so that the little peg is pointing down, turn the forearms so that the peg is pointing down, and then ratchet them back on the double hinge and peg them into place. Let's do that on the other side. Fold it down, peg it into place, and we're done. The guns may be mounted on the nose cone or underneath the nose cone and on the side. There is a mount point at the top of the plane mode, but neither gun can really sit there comfortably. It's kind of funny that they just can't peg in back here all that well. I do find that a bit ironic, even though it acts like it's supposed to be, or they're supposed to be. The jet mode is the best rendition of Jhiaxus from that Gen 2 comic that we're going to ever get. I'm not sure how they can collapse or hide the arms any better. This is as close to that alt mode as we're gonna ever get. Now in this mode, he doesn't really work with a flight stand all that well. There is the peg in there, but good luck trying to get like one of these flight stands in there unless there is an extender that is really tiny and can fit in there. That's where one of these comes into play. It's a Cybertronian-style jet. What else can I say? I mean, it doesn't really fit towards the laws of physics because those wings are way too small to provide accurate lift, or good enough lift, for a plane of this type. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And also, I kind of transformed something wrong. I put his head so that he's looking out of his own cockpit. Well, not cockpit, but you know what I mean. Just, whoopsie. I really do like this figure. I think it works. The Cybertronian jet mode is fun. It's different. It isn't a seeker, and that's great. It's a great transformation, too. The transformation's a ton of fun. The first time you do it, it is a little bit weird, but it's a good figure. It's fun. It's got a cool transformation. What more can you want? And I mean, you could do a Macross mode with arms only so he can smack fools as he flies by. Next to a couple of other Decepticon flyers, he looks perfectly at home. If you had told me a year ago that we were getting a brand new Jhiaxus toy, I would not have believed you. And if you had told me that we were getting an accurate Generation 2 comic book Jhiaxus, I still wouldn't have believed you. I honestly thought that this figure had been thrown to the wind and just kind of forgotten about, but the Legacy line is really going for broke here. This Jhiaxus figure needs to be in your collection. Hands down. Doesn't matter if you have no idea who this character is or if you've never read the comics from the 90s. This figure's great. Yeah, the alt mode is a little weird, but the robot mode is exquisite. And yes, they are using that weird nylon plastic here for the white, and it works. It's thick enough that there are no problems on my copy other than the strangeness of the slightly loose joints. It's a slam dunk, plain and simple. So folks, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you've hit that bell and you get a notification that, hey, I'm for kids, no, I'm not. Go ahead, unsubscribe from my channel, refresh your page, resubscribe from my channel. That'll fix the problem. Again, thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and we'll catch you all next time.